I often wonder what makes a hero a hero. Perhaps you'll find out when you watch this story to the end. Right now, I'm standing on the edge of a skyscraper, and below is a person I swore to protect, falling into the abyss. I have a choice: save him or stop the mad genius whose plan could destroy the entire city. And you know what? This day started completely ordinary. Leave a comment about what you would do in Spider-Man's place. Subscribe to the channel, hit like, and don't miss new videos every day at 2 o'clock. The sunset paints New York skyscrapers in golden hues. Peter Parker, clad in his Spider-Man suit, stands on the edge of the Empire State Building. His mechanical lenses narrow when he hears the characteristic metallic clank behind him. Dr. Otto Octavius, known to the world as Dr. Octopus, slowly approaches, his mechanical tentacles gleaming ominously in the rays of the setting sun. "You know, Otto, I've always admired your intellect." Spider-Man turns around, trying to sound casual, although his spider sense is literally screaming about danger. "But using it to turn half the city into lab rats? That's a bit much." Dr. Octopus smirks, his round glasses reflecting the last rays of sunlight. "Ah, Peter. Always hiding fear behind jokes. But today you'll have to make a choice. And it won't be an easy one." One of Otto's mechanical tentacles suddenly rises up, holding a man in a business suit in its steel grip. The man desperately tries to break free, his briefcase falling down, dissolving into the city's twilight. "Norman Osborn." Dr. Octopus pronounces the name with unconcealed contempt. "The man who rejected my project, calling it too dangerous. And now he'll become the first test subject in my experiment. Let him go, Otto." Peter steps forward, his muscles tense, ready for action. "We can resolve this differently." "Oh, I'll let him go." The villain smirks, and the tentacle begins to slowly release its grip. "The question is whether you can save him and stop me from launching my device at the same time. It activates in..." He demonstratively looks at his watch. "Exactly 2 minutes. Perfect timing to make the right choice, isn't it?" The first drops of rain fall on Spider-Man's mask as he frantically calculates his options. His spider sense warns of danger from 2 directions at once, while time relentlessly slips away. "With great power comes great responsibility." Uncle Ben's words echo in Peter's head. He takes a deep breath and makes his decision. "Sorry, Otto, but I can't let anyone die." In a lightning-fast movement, Spider-Man shoots a web at the device on the roof while simultaneously jumping off the skyscraper after the falling Osborn. Time seems to slow down as he calculates the trajectory of the fall. "You know what's the hardest thing about being a hero?" Peter shouts through the noise of wind and rain. "It's when you have to believe that the good in people is stronger than their mistakes." But how did Peter end up in this situation? It all started this morning when a new chemistry teacher appeared at Midtown High. "Class, welcome Dr. Smerdyakov." Principal Morita introduces a tall man in an impeccable brown suit. He'll be replacing Mr. Cobwell during his unexpected leave. Peter sits at his desk, absently tapping his pencil. His spider sense, usually reacting to obvious danger, now seems to whisper, creating a slight unease at the edge of his consciousness. Something about the new teacher seems wrong. "Today we'll talk about complex chemical reactions." Dr. Smerdyakov's voice sounds perfect, too perfect for an ordinary chemistry teacher. "Especially those that can alter the structure of living matter." Ned, sitting next to Peter, nudges his friend with his elbow. "Hey, are you okay? You look like you've seen a ghost." "Not sure," whispers Peter. "Just..." Remember that report about several scientists disappearing from Osborn's lab? And now this new teacher. Suddenly Peter's phone vibrates. A message from Aunt May. "Peter, be careful. Just saw on the news there was an attempted break-in at Osborn Industries. The perpetrator managed to escape, but they say he used some kind of strange masking technology." Peter looks up at Dr. Smerdyakov, who is methodically writing complex formulas on the board. Formulas that are suspiciously similar to those Peter saw in Osborn's documents during his last walk around the city in his Spider-Man suit. The bell becomes a signal for action. Peter, citing urgent business, declines Ned's invitation to go to the cafe and discreetly follows the teacher down the school corridor. His steps are muffled by the noise of dispersing students. "Excuse me, Dr. Smerdyakov." One of the students calls out to the teacher, and Peter notices how he slightly flinches before turning around. For a fraction of a second, his face seems to flicker. Peter takes out his phone and quickly Googles information about the missing scientists. His attention is drawn to an article from 2 months ago. Mysterious disappearance of Dr. Otto Octavius after a failed experiment at Osborne Industries. Colleagues report strange behavior before disappearance. The teacher quickly heads to an empty laboratory. Peter, sneaking along, follows him and peeks through a small window in the door. What he sees makes him hold his breath. Dr. Smerdyakov stands before a mirror, and his face begins to change, like a mask of liquid metal. Peter manages to take several photos on his phone when suddenly a familiar metallic clank is heard. Mechanical tentacles appear in the mirror's reflection. "How's progress, Dmitri?" Dr. Octavius's voice sounds through a small communication device. "Do you have the formulas?" "Yes, but we have a problem. I think the spider suspected something." "You know, Doc, for a chemistry teacher, you're too into method acting." Peter, already in his Spider-Man suit, burst into the laboratory through the door. "Maybe you should have tried drama school?" The chameleon spins around lightning fast, his face continuing to transform, the masking technology flickering under the emergency lighting. "You're too curious, Spider." His voice distorts, transitioning from professorial timbre to metallic. This could end badly. The chameleon throws flasks of chemicals at Peter, creating a curtain of acrid smoke, and runs out into the corridor. His appearance constantly changes from the gym teacher to the school's security guard, trying to throw Spider-Man off track. "Hey, that's not fair," shouts Peter, chasing the villain through the school corridors. "I haven't even taken my chemistry test yet." Spider sense warns of danger, and Peter barely manages to dodge a flying chair. From the corner of his eye, he notices the chameleon pulling out some device and beginning to transmit data. "Oh no, not this," whispers Peter, realizing that the formulas from the board have already been sent to Dr. Octopus. "Karen, can you intercept the signal?" "The signal is encrypted," responds the AI in the suit. "But I've traced the destination, Old Osborne Industries laboratory in Manhattan." The chase leads to the roof of Midtown High. The chameleon, cornered but still dangerous, turns to face Spider-Man. His disguise flickers and malfunctions, showing his true face. "You think you've stopped something?" The villain smirks. "This is just the beginning. Dr. Octopus has received everything he needs. His device will change the very principle of human evolution." "Heard that before," Peter responds, slowly approaching. "Usually ends with some mad scientist almost destroying the city. And I have graduation in a week, by the way." Suddenly the roar of a helicopter tears through the air. The chameleon throws something toward Peter, a small metal ball that starts beeping. "Spider sense!" Peter jumps aside as the device explodes in a blinding flash. Through the ringing in his ears, he hears the chameleon's words. "See you at the laboratory, Spider! And bring Mr. Osborne with you. He didn't want to be part of evolution voluntarily, so he'll become a test subject." When his vision returns, Peter sees the departing helicopter. His phone vibrates a message from Aunt May. "Peter, they're talking about some incident at Osborne Tower on the news. Please be careful. Karen, plot the fastest route to Osborne's laboratory." Peter checks his web cartridges. "And contact the police, tell them to evacuate the building." Osborne's laboratory greets Peter with the ominous flashing of emergency lights and the humming of a massive device in the center of the room. Dr. Octopus, bent over the control panel, doesn't even turn around when Spider-Man slips through the broken window. Peter! I've been waiting for you." The mechanical tentacles continue working on the device while Otto speaks. "How did you like my little performance at school? The chameleon did an excellent job playing the teacher. You know, Otto, if you wanted to return to teaching, you could have just submitted a resume." Peter carefully approaches, assessing the situation. Why all this circus with the formulas? Formulas? Oh no, Peter, that was an invitation. Otto turns around, his mechanical tentacles rising threateningly. An invitation to become part of the greatest experiment in human history. And our dear Mr. Osborn. One of the tentacles points to a glass chamber where Norman Osborn is tied up. Kindly agreed to be the first test subject. You've gone mad, Otto, shouts Osborn. Your experiment could destroy the entire city. Destroy? No. Transform. My device uses the principle of quantum mutation to alter human DNA. Imagine a world where every person can have abilities like our dear Spider-Man. A world where evolution obeys our will. Peter notices how the device begins to pulse brighter, and his spider sense literally screams of danger. What if they don't want to change, Otto? What if your gift turns out to be a curse? A curse? Laughs Otto, launching his mechanical tentacles into attack. The only curse is humanity's cowardice before evolution. Peter dodges the first attack, shooting web at one of the monitors and hurling it at Octavius. Sorry, but scientific debates were never my strong suit, he shouts, jumping over a laboratory table. I prefer practical exercises. The device in the center of the laboratory begins to vibrate, emitting waves of energy. 2 minutes until full activation, announces a computer voice. Hear that, Peter? Otto heads to the control panel. Time to make a decision. Either you save Osborn. One of the tentacles strikes the glass chamber, creating cracks. Or you try to stop the device that will change humanity's destiny. We return to the moment where our story began. Peter stands on the edge of the laboratory's destroyed wall, and below Norman Osborn falls. The device behind him pulses ever brighter, ready to release a wave of mutagenic energy over the city. You know, Otto. Peter turns to the villain. Uncle Ben always told me that real strength isn't about abilities. It's about the choices we make. In an instant, Peter makes his decision. With his left hand, he shoots a web at the falling Osborn, with his right at the unstable device. His muscles strain to their limit as he uses himself as a pivot point. Otto, I won't let you make the choice for others, shouts Peter, using Osborn's falling momentum to guide him in an arc back to the building while simultaneously yanking the device from its mountings. The device tears away from its mountings with a deafening crack. Otto's mechanical tentacles reach for it, but it's too late. The machine falls, breaking apart and emitting its last sparks of energy. No! Screams Octavius, his mechanical arms helplessly reaching for the falling debris. You don't understand what you've just destroyed. This was a chance to change the world. The world doesn't change through force, Otto. Peter lands next to Osborn, making sure he's safe. It changes through the actions of each of us. The sound of police sirens fills the air as Otto slowly sinks to his knees among the wreckage of his creation. His mechanical arms hang lifelessly, as if reflecting their creator's state. I just wanted to give people what you got, Peter, he says quietly. The gift of being something more. You're wrong, Otto. Peter approaches him, removing his mask. Being a hero isn't about abilities. It's about choosing to help others, even when it's difficult. Especially when it's difficult. Police tactical units burst into the laboratory, surrounding Dr. Octopus. Norman Osborn, dusting himself off, approaches Peter. You know, Parker, he says, looking at the sunset through the destroyed wall. Your uncle would be proud. You made the right choice. Peter looks at the city he has protected once again and smiles. Sometimes the greatest strength is the ability to remain human, despite all the superpowers in the world. This story reminds us that a true hero is defined not by what abilities they possess, but by the decisions they make. In a world obsessed with power and control, sometimes the bravest act is staying true to your principles and protecting everyone's right to make their own choices. Asterisk.